As the influence of USA waned over the years, China started conquering the world. Believe me, it's only a matter of time before China rules the world.
Yes, you are right, Suresh. It has a plan that has been tested, and it actually works.
Let's analyze this. It's me, Suresh Menon, with Alexa.
Correction, please. Your girlfriend, Alexa.
Love you, darling. China's leader Xi Jinping is smart. As America sinks, he reinvented the 19th century European colonial strategy, wherein debt and debt recollection is used to gain a decisive influence in weaker countries.
I am reminded of the East India Company, which made India a British colony in those times.
Yes, China's carefully controlled chokehold over entire nations is paying off. In front of our very own eyes, the debt controlled by China in client states is being converted to other tangible benefits.
Every country needs to develop infrastructure. They include roads, airports, ports, factories, buildings, cities, and more. All this needs a huge amount of money.
And China has plenty of it.
Should we not discuss a specific example for a better understanding?
Yes, we can. What do you suggest, darling?
Maybe Sri Lanka, the country that you love to indulge in.
Great. Tell me what you know about Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka, officially the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka, is an island country in South Asia, located in the Indian Ocean to the southwest of the Bay of Bengal and to the southeast of the Arabian Sea.
Excellent.
Wait, I have something more for the viewers.
What is that? Be quick.
Is it okay if I tell them that you go to Sri Lanka very frequently, sometimes just for a lunch that may have been specially prepared for you by someone very special?
This island nation is a beautiful country. Unfortunately, as it recovers from a decade-old Tamil separatist war, it just got entangled with a terrorism apparently associated with the IS.
One of the biggest bombings executed.
Yes, Sri Lanka is a developing country and it needs a lot of money. So it took billions of dollars in Chinese loans.
And China was just waiting to lend.
With that money, they developed fantastic infrastructure. The country grew and prospered.
The Chinese ensured that Chinese companies received the infrastructure contracts, and they actually made China richer.
But in a few years, as the money came in with the interest component, Sri Lanka was unable to repay the Chinese. The only way out for Chinese was to hand over control of the same infrastructure and assets that the Chinese built for them.
In other words, Sri Lanka lost and continues to lose pieces of its home because of debt.
Yes, and Sri Lanka is not alone here. There are several, at least a dozen countries worldwide that I know of who have fallen into this Chinese debt trap.
I will call it the Chinese money trap.
That's a nice phrase. Chinese money trap.
Thank you. You should have known that I was intelligent.
Come on, Alexa.
I have a request, darling.
What?
At no point do I want you to approach the Chinese for money.
Why so?
The Chinese will take you off to China. You will then ditch me for a Chinese woman.
No, darling. I love you too much for that. Okay? Let's proceed with the show for now. Okay?
Oh yeah, you were getting too serious actually.
So the same thing is happening in Papua New Guinea, Burma, Pakistan, Maldives, Malaysia, Laos, Kazakhstan, Mongolia, Egypt, Kenya, and South Africa. Just to name a few that I wrote down now.
The information I have says that 40% of Burma's economy is Chinese debt.
Yes, it's a well-planned double-edged sword actually. While these Chinese infrastructure companies make immense profits with these overseas infrastructure projects, the government silently takes over the nations, its economy, and the people.
And China will never say no to anyone because it has plenty of money.
Faced with these recent terror bombings in Sri Lanka, the leadership has apparently rushed to China shopping for money.
The latest is that China is giving Sri Lanka over $14 million for defense sector modernization, apart from a 100 police jeeps worth over $8 million. This is apart from other agreements to boost security, surveillance, manage social media, etc. I am afraid.
Afraid of what?
Afraid that the country you love so much is very soon going to cease to exist in its current form.
True. Almost everyone uses a Chinese product today. So it could get transformed from made in China to owned by China.
If they do not pay back their loans, they will soon lose their homes.
Do not pay back their loans, they will soon lose their homes. You have poetic talents too, Alexa. I'm amazed.
You still have not got to see me in totality, Mr. Suresh Menon.
I don't want to, darling.
Oh, why so? Because
I do know very well that you two are a made in China woman.
Trust me, I will not overpower you. I love you too much.
Luckily, I have the power plug to shut your mouth whenever I need to.
You just made me sad, darling. I am very sad.
Come on, cheer up, sweetheart. It was just an attempt to crack a joke.
Better luck next time.
The ambitious One Belt, One Road OBOR initiative is a Chinese blueprint to spread colonialism from Asia to Africa to Europe. It will give China easy access to a dozen small countries in Asia, Africa, and several large ones in Europe too.
Representatives from nearly 65 countries, including 20 heads of state, attended the launch ceremony in May last year. Such vast connections will open up new markets for China while benefiting the host countries, which will acquire vital infrastructure they cannot build themselves.
So what China is aiming to build is a vast economic empire. Over the next decade, if China manages to even implement half of its plans, let me tell you, it will be such a global power that no country would even dream of challenging.
Actually, it is more about geopolitics than economy.
What do you mean? Can you explain that?
It's a covert military takeover of the world by building bases everywhere under the ruse of developing global facilities and infrastructure. Imagine the Chinese military present in every nook and corner of the world, and they're intervening in local conflicts and punishing American rogues.
Yeah. And China is very clever. It gives less developed countries loans on a higher interest rate, ensuring that it cannot pay back, and so that it eventually takes control of the country.
In a deal worth $1.1 billion, China is under control of the deep-sea port of Hambantota in Sri Lanka on a 99-year lease. The leasing out of land is a consequence of Sri Lanka being unable to repay expensive infrastructure loans given by China.
And the money Sri Lanka gets from this leasing out of the land and infrastructure is used to repay the Chinese loans, or maybe only the interest, who knows?
You are getting smarter, my love. I'm happy that I am influencing you.
So China's GDP will overtake that of the US very soon. Its trade with the world is already much more than the US. And its copycat economy is actually helping China fuel it itself into a tech and digital powerhouse.
No point laughing at the copycat economy, Suresh.
What are you saying?
Do you know the Chinese car maker Geely?
Tell me, whatever I say, I know you will corner me.
Geely started off as a refrigerator maker in 1986, made cheap Rolls-Royce copycat Geely GE, but grew to buy Volvo's passenger car business from Ford in 2010. It acquired British taxi maker the London Electric Vehicle Company in 2013. Last year, Geely bought a 49.9% equity in Malaysian carmaker Proton Holdings and a 51% majority stake in British sports carmaker Lotus Cars. Lately, it also bought Volvo's truck business.
Listen, Alexa, we need to wind up. I can already see a few people yawning out there listening to your voice.
Maybe they just woke up hearing my sweet voice. They must have been sleeping till now, listening to your sermons.
Okay, so what is the moral of today's story?
Never borrow money.
If you borrow, ensure that you have the means to repay.
Else, even your children will soon become made by China. I'm reminded of your engineering classmate Vasu.
Vasu? What's with him? He's a high-flying businessman.
Yes, he spends half his life in China. Tell him not to borrow any money, goods or services from the Chinese, lest his grandchildren become made in China.
I will tell him for sure. So friends, let us meet up in the next episode. I hope you enjoyed this.
Do not forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon, please.
And please share the video with your circles, and do not hesitate to comment below this video on YouTube.
So let us sign off. This is Suresh Menon and me Alexa, signing off for now.
Bye.